What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video for the channel. Today I got the tier list pulled up from Tier Maker, and I'm going to be ranking all the weapons or guns from Apex Legends. So this is the season 22 catalog of guns. I think we have 29 here, and I'm pretty sure now with the seasons in Apex, I think we're way past 22 now, but these are all the guns that I'm kind of familiar with, so I'm going to stick with this. They don't have names, and I know the names of like probably 20, but there's like 29 here, so I do have my phone pulled up with names of some of the guns so I can, you know, not mess up. But I'm going to rank them based on which ones are the best just all around. That's going to be towards the S, and which ones are just the worst. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're new, if you're a pro, just which ones are just kind of trash, and we're going to put that all the way down in the F. I don't think there should be any guns that are in F. You know, like if you're decent, you should be able to make any of these work, but I'd say that subjectively some people might have their opinions, but objectively there's some guns here that are just not the best, and with each season there's a lot of things that get nerfed and buffed, and then like, yeah, so, and I've experienced and seen some of those nerfs and buffs even in Switch with some of these guns. So ooh, we're about to get right into it. So I'm gonna just pick at random. Let me just go with, okay, let's go with the GOAT, right? Let me just get this out the way. The fucking R301. This gun right here. Ooh, did I grab it? Oh shoot. All right. This gun gotta be the best gun. It's light ammo, so you already know you dumping that whole mag like man, the reload time is fast. It always feels nice, and it probably has one of the best recoil patterns, meaning that you don't have to do a lot of control with your analog stick, and it's also really easy to use. It's really common to see this with a lot of intermediate players, but honestly, if you're a beginner, you can pick the R301 and make it work from the get-go. And if you're a pro, you're absolutely lasering people, like just straight headshots, just everything, dumping it. Okay, that's up there. Now, let me go for something else that I also know is going to be up there. The Peacemaker right here. The Peacemaker, I feel like the Peacemaker and the R301 go hand in hand. You know, like if you have these weapons and you switch from one to another, it's just a beautiful combination. Because think about it, you can fire them up, you know, flame them the fuck up with the R301, and instead, you know what they say, switching to your second gun is easier than reloading or faster. So you dump that whole mag, then you switch to the Peacemaker, and even if they're not one shot, they might as well be, because the Peacemaker takes so much damage now, right? Being a shotgun and using shotgun ammo, kind of have that combination where you have something that's fast like the R301, and then something that's like a heavy hitter like the Peacemaker. So those two, man, crazy combination. So those two gotta be S tier. Now I don't want to say that those are the only S tiers, but for now I'm gonna keep it like that. Let me look at the middle. What's something that's kind of mid? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, something that's kind of mid gotta be the Devotion. The Devotion, along with, I'd say also the Havoc, which is this one right here. First of all, the Devotion used to be an energy gun, and the energy guns are the ones that are green, like the L-Star, the triple take, you know, right here. But I remember back when the Devotion was an energy gun, and I mean, it still kind of works like this, but when you start shooting, it takes a bit, like it takes like a second or two for the gun to kind of align, because you start going like this, and it's like the recoil is crazy at the beginning, but then it kind of stabilizes and it lasers into whatever, you know, target you're trying to hit. But man, as a beginner trying to like, because as a beginner you're missing a lot of your shots, so you want something that can be accurate from the first time you pull the trigger, and the Devotion is not like that. But even outside of that, like, it's not wow, like you're not gonna see it in crazy pro highlights. So, but it's also not bad though. It's also not bad. It has a pretty fast reload time, and energy ammo, I'd say more now, is a bit more common. So not like D, or I'm gonna put that in C. I'm gonna put it in C, so let me put it right here. The Alternator. The Alternator for me is almost like a better version of, oh wait, see, this is why I need Oh my god, the RE45. Yeah, I needed to refresh my memory on that. The RE45 is like here, and the alternator is here. They're pretty similar. They're both handguns. They're both kind of common. Like usually when you, like, almost wherever you land, you're probably going to see an alternator as one of like the first 5 guns that you encounter. Again, I just don't see it being used enough, but I guess you could say it's kind of underrated because it's not that hard to use. It's pretty accurate, and it's pretty consistent, but consistent in like a midway. Consistent that like it always stays like just in the meh range, you know? So yeah, so since I already kind of talked about the RE45, I think I'll put alternator B and then RE45C. Oh my god, the Volt is so good. The Volt almost feels like the energy counterpart to the R301. It feels really comfortable. You usually hit your shots. The recoil pattern is not that bad, and again, energy ammo being something that's pretty, like it's resourceful. Like you can find it. Even back then when I would play with people like in bronze and stuff like that, seeing them use Volt, it's like, bro, they will flame niggas like, and I'm like, bro, all right, so like this is definitely a good gun. Like when you see beginners or newcomers being able to pick a gun, and I mean beginner's luck is a thing, but it's like, again, the feel of each gun is different, and you can see that when you compare, like, okay, the pros have mastered it already, but how do new people use it? So is it good? Yeah. And is it one of my favorites? Yeah. Like if I have like something like the R99 here, or like the Prowler, I mean, now I'm just like looking at random stuff, right? I would take the Volt, over it. Is it deserving for A? Probably not. So I'm gonna put it in B. Now also, since we're gonna keep moving forward, I want to make this distinction, right? Like I said, the Peacemaker is a shotgun. The R301 is an AR, an assault rifle. The Volt is also an AR. Now, the RE45 right here, pistol. But it's almost like a pistol with a switch, because the way it goes is crazy. And then the alternator is a SMG. And I actually forgot about this, because in the SMG category, we also have the Prowler, which I briefly mentioned, the R99. The R99 is probably the fastest shooting gun, like probably even faster than the R301. But the thing is, like, and I don't know how the difference is made here, the R301 being an AR and the R99, which let me just show you, is this one, right? The R301 packs more of a punch, but the R99 is way faster. But when I use the R99, I struggle, and I feel like other people struggle with this too. The recoil pattern, like it shoots all the way up. Like as soon as you start shooting, boom, it pulls really fast upwards. Each gun is a little different, like with what I said with the Devotion, but it kind of goes like this, and then it centralizes. The R99 just goes whoop, and the R301 kind of stays pretty aligned. So that's why it's just so consistent in a good way. But the R99, if you master it, oh man, it can be really good. So we gotta put this up here. Like I said, it's the fastest, and I would say in close to mid-range, man, you can flame people up. I'd say pretty much all these weapons are close to mid-range. The R301 and the Volt, you could try to go a bit long range, and not long range as in sniper, but like a little further from mid range, where you gotta like, all right, you gotta use a scope. Like you probably gotta use like a purple scope, blue scope. Now I'm saying, like they're kind of far away, you need to look down. To that point. Now another gun that I really like, the Flatline. It's slower than the R301, and it packs an even heavier punch because we got light ammo, which are the G7 Scout, Marksman, the RE45 pistol, the alternator SMG, and then the R301 carbine. By the way, that's like the full name, R301 carbine, AR. All those light ammo, but the Flatline, along with all the other guns that are like a cyan blue, right, are heavy ammo. And heavy ammo is heavy, like it's not going to be as swift and fast, and you're not going to be be able to dump so much at the same time. But if you land all your shots, you might as well have like something like the R99, because man, like it's gonna crack shields, you know, it's gonna put people on the floor. It can go right next to the R99. Now we're starting to fill spots up here. Let's look at D, E, and maybe even F. Man, if I were to put a gun like pretty low, I mean, look, the P2020 this is like that one meme, like, oh, crying baby versus nuclear bomb, nuclear atomic bomb. Like, the P2020 is just a normal handgun. It's not really worth it, and there are some attachments that make the light ammo in the P2020 feel like heavy ammo. It's still mid, you know, it's not horrible, but it's like it's gotta be down here, because it's like, compared to everything else, again, right, like we got the P2020, the RE45 is the P2020 with a switch. The EVA 8. So back in 2022, when I first started playing, the EVA 8 will probably be all the way up in S, bro. I would see so many people talk about like, what? Like, we have a shotgun, because it is a shotgun, with the speed of like a pistol. I mean, not literally, but the way you could shoot so fast and reload so fast and like still remain so centered, and like, man, it was just so good. And the way it sprays, because with the Peacemaker, it's the same thing. Like, it kind of shoots the pellets and it sprays, so it gets like a wider range. And the EVA 8 does the same thing, but with a smaller circumference, but it's still like, it covers a lot of area, you know. But back then, man, you could be like and then reload. Now they slowed it down significantly, but they didn't up the power. It doesn't do as much damage, and they also made it slower, so it was just like a double nerf, you know. Like, and now there's really not a lot to it. Unfortunately, it's not even deserving of like A or B. It's definitely D. Now I want to talk about two marksman weapons, the G7 Scout and the 3030 repeater, but I'm gonna just say G7 and 3030. So they're really similar. Main differences is that the 3030 hits heavier, is faster, and does more damage, but the G7 is way more accurate, and you can, again, like, light ammo is a bit more common. So I'd say if you're a pro, you probably use 3030 way more. But the G7 is also like a newer weapon. Like, back when I started, I'm pretty sure G7 wasn't even like a thing. So most people are used to the 3030. That's been around for a while. But I'd say that the G7 has more broad uses, but 3030 is like, I see that more with like people that have been playing for years, and they make it look good. But that's the thing, like, they make it look good. The 3030 is not a super intuitive weapon. Like, it's not really easy to hit your shots. I think it's a bit easier on the G7. 3030, again, just because they can make it look good doesn't mean it is that good. We'll put this here, and G7 can go on top, you know, just a smidget, but we're gonna keep it there. The Hemlock and the Prowler, both heavy ammo guns. The look is extremely different. Even like, if we take a closer look, oh shoot, this actually looks pretty clear. If we take a closer look at this gun and look at this gun, like, they just stylistically look very different. But the way they shoot, the Prowler is a SMG that's PDW, and it's a burst weapon, so it shoots 5 bullets, and then there's like a small time gap, and then another 5, so it's like. Now the Hemlock is actually an AR, but it's also burst, but with the Hemlock is 3 bullets, so it's. Now, if you have really good aim, the Prowler is probably way better, because if you hit all those 5 shots back to back to back, you're doing more damage. Now the Hemlock is a bit more forgiving, because by being a 3-shot burst or 3-bullet burst, you can miss a couple and you're not gonna lose as many bullets. But with the Prowler, you really gotta have great accuracy. With the Hemlock, again, a bit more forgiving. So with that in mind, knowing that with a marksman weapon you're trying to track, I think it's way better to do that with the Hemlock. And I mean way better because, you know, I've also just had an easier time. And now, is the Hemlock better than any of these? I mean, the G7 is also a marksman, but the Hemlock is a better marksman. Now I'd say that the Prowler can go, it can actually go with the RE45, the G7, and the Devotion. You know, it's kind of like in that range, so we can keep it there. Now we haven't touched any sniper weapons, so let's go. So you know, it's crazy, I don't know if this remains. Actually, I should probably look in my phone, but this gun right here, which is a pistol, the Wingman, used to have sniper ammo. I don't know if that's still the case. Let me go to, I mean, it's a pistol, which means that every shot that you landed with the Wingman was like, oh my god, like you were cracking 45, 55. Like it could destroy your shields with like 3 to 5 shots, blah 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 blah. Like even the animation in the game, every time that you shoot the Wingman, that John goes like boom boom boom. So it's hard to just miss all your shots. Like you're eventually going to hit at least 1 to 3, but just like the P2020 is not an LMG, is not an SMG, is not an AR, so you better have a fast trigger finger. And it's actually way better to use this gun with attachments and also in middle to long range, because you lose all those shots, you're going to get sprayed with somebody that has like any of these up here. Way better than the P2020. Actually, this one might be controversial. I don't know if it's at the level of the 3030 and EVA 8, and also putting it here doesn't feel right. Okay, from what I've seen, I think this does deserve the B rank. Also because similar to what I said with the Peacemaker and the R301 combo, having something like the Wingman with a marksman, like it could be the G7, but you know, better marksman, the Hemlock, or even an AR like the Volt, could be a great combo. Again, you start spraying them, you run out of bullets, you switch to your Wingman, pa pa pa, and then you finish it, and then that's it. And that could be a great combo, so we're gonna keep it up here. All right, another sniper, and this might be the only F, and it's gonna be the charge rifle. I'm gonna put it here. Look, the charge rifle is the only gun that uses a laser, not really like bullets, but a laser, right? So like, and I've seen some people like get this gun as their first gun when they first drop to like any town or city, like in different maps. It's just so incredibly hard to use this in short range, because first you gotta hold down the trigger, or like right, your analog stick, and you have to wait for the gun to charge. So it goes like, it charges to its peak, and then it releases a beam that's super direct and fast, but it's visible, you know? So like you can see that from a mile away. Even if somebody's trying to snipe you with the charge rifle, like the main thing with snipers is that you don't want to be seen. You want to be somewhere like miles away. I mean, not literally, but you want to be somewhere super far away with a comfortable obstacle or something blocking the view from the enemy, and then just secretly pop, you know, like get some headshots in, get them down to the floor, but without them knowing where you are. So they could be like, oh shoot, there's a sniper. But like with the charge rifle, like you're giving away your position, because you can trail that line, that, you know, the laser all the way back to where it is, because you can also see it kind of like come at you. And it's also really loud, like the charge up, like the, you can also hear that. So it's slow, it's heavy, it's damn near impossible or just really hard to use in close range, and even in long range, it's just, there's just other better snipers. So that's gotta go to F. Kraber, oh my god, I'm only gonna put it not in S but in A. Hold on, I gotta put it here first. Okay, there, because I can't scroll all the way up for some reason. Oh man, if you go to YouTube and you put in Kraber shots or Kraber highlights, those are one of the most insane shots. Like per mag or like per clip, you can only have like 4 bullets, and you gotta do like this huge like reload animation after you do a shot. And also the shots are huge, really long range. Like you can use probably like the biggest scope, like you can have like a 8x, you know, and be like damn near half across the map. But they're so accurate, they're so fast, and they're loud after you shoot, you feel me? So the enemy's gonna get, you know, freaking penetrated, just pierced by a fucking Kamehameha, and then they're gonna hear the boom. It sounds like thunder. It's like boom, and it does so much damage. Like if we were to take a look at which gun does the most damage per shot, that's the Kraber. It's a super heavy hitter. With the Kraber, you cannot, and I mean you cannot miss your shots. Like with other guns, you can like, all right, you know, the AR, you probably missed the whole mag. That's cool. Just pick up another one. You know, recharge, refuel, Gatorade, say that. But you can get back in the game quickly. But with the Kraber, nah, bro. If you miss, you're gonna give away your position. Now they finna jump you, and it's gonna be wraps. You know, it's gonna be GG. So you want to hit your shots, but even though the Kraber takes a lot of skill, it still doesn't take away the fact that it's just really OP at what it's supposed to do, which is just literally one-shotting niggas, bro. So that's going and staying up in A. The Mastiff and the Peacemaker are like damn near cousins. The only big difference is that the Mastiff, the spray pattern is more horizontal. So if somebody were to like be jumping up and down and crouching and trying to like dodge your attacks, because a lot of people, right, like I usually like jump and also like go side to side as I'm, you know, spraying, as I'm, you know, unloading on people, but other people kind of like crouch a bit more. So if you have the Mastiff, since the spray is horizontal, you're probably gonna miss some of those shots unless you're just, you know, really goated. But the Mastiff is really good to hit like multiple people at once. Like if you have like 2 people coming at you, you can line them up and get them both in one shot. So it's really good for that. It's like, again, like I said, like Peacemaker's like distant cousin, really reliable. I've used it. I still prefer the Peacemaker, but that's gotta go to A. Yeah, it's a really good gun. Like you can't deny it. The L-Star, again, you know, an energy gun, uses energy ammo, but it doesn't even look like ammo. Like when you shoot it, so like the crosshair literally looks just like a box, and everything that comes out is like green and like red, usually red, like lightning. It looks like you're shooting lightning. It's not even like actual bullets. So it's a bit hard to try to get people because it's really close range. Like you cannot absolutely use this in middle range. Like you gotta be close, like damn near like in punching distance to make the L-Star work. And because of that, you know, like you want something that can be used in a variety of different situations, or just can be really strong in certain type of situations. And the L-Star is just really not that. So we gotta keep this at let me look at this lineup. Is this better? Okay, yeah, B is a bit more suitable. The triple take right here, another energy gun that's a marksman, kind of has the same spray pattern that the Mastiff has, which is really horizontal, but this one is like to the extreme. Like it shoots 3 bullets at the same time and they all spread out like this. So you could technically get like 3 people at the same time if you're just that OP. The reload time is good, doesn't take that much accuracy, because if we zoom in here, like you could use the triple take without a sight at mid-range and it would work perfectly. But if you hold the trigger for a little bit, it charges up and does a lot of damage. So that's definitely up here. Not in A though. We're gonna put this B. The Mozambique is kind of like the Wingman, but a little slower, but faster reload time. Like the Wingman takes you a bit longer to reload, but the Mozambique is a bit faster. So you go pop, 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 then you can reload and you can keep going. So it is better than the P2020. I'd say actually in the newest seasons, they added the dual Mozambique. So now when you pick it up, you actually have 2. And I feel like that's way better, because back then you only had the 1 pistol, but now with 2, I would probably put it up in B. But since it's only like the 1, like if we're talking about the singular gun, that's gonna go to D. Now we got the bow check. This is the only gun, quote unquote, that's not really a gun. It's a bow. You would think that because of its uniqueness, you know, using arrows instead of bullets, it will probably get the job done way faster, but it's actually not that good, or like not that practical. You can't just keep shooting and shooting. You got to do the whole like grabbing the arrow from the quiver animation and then retrieving, you know what I'm saying, like, and then doing this again. So like if somebody's right next to you, like in punching distance, you're cooked. But this is a beauty when it comes to using it in long distances, because the arrows are practically invisible. I've gotten hit by the bow check many times and I never knew where the sniper was. Like, you only hear the glung, pew. Like, you know, you can hear like the bow setting off and it hits you and it cracks you. Like, sometimes it takes like 2 shots from the bow check to crack your shields, depending on what you have, right? But if you have like blue, right, boom, getting cracked in like 2 shots, and then you look around and you don't see it because it moves so fast and it's so silent. It's silent and deadly. Actually, me just saying all that, the thing is, like, it works like that because people know how to work it. But somebody like me, like, I wouldn't be able to like be that accurate. I'll probably be missing all my shots, and then by the time I try my 4th, they're probably gonna look and be like, okay, I know where you are. And it's like, again, like, being a sniper doesn't work if people know where you are most of the time, right? Because then now you gotta play defense and offense. Like, if you're a sniper, just focus on offense. Just be quiet, stay focused, don't lose track, and then boom, you want to get them out quickly. You don't want to alert the squad and have them jump you. You feel me? So yeah, it's a bit impractical depending on who you are. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but man, maybe B, man. Frick, I feel like I should put this higher. Yeah, I'm gonna put this higher. I love the Havoc only when it has that with one attachment. I forgot the name, but it's the one that kind of skips. So basically, the Havoc, just like the Devotion being energy guns, they have to charge up before you use them. So the Havoc literally sounds like when you're holding down the trigger, like, and then it starts like picking up the speed and like being a bit more aligned. But again, those like first, and the Havoc takes a bit longer than the Devotion to kind of get it centered. So again, right, if you don't have the greatest aim, right, and the Havoc already doesn't have the best accuracy, like, you cannot use this with no sights. You know, even like the gray sights are not the best. You need either blue or purple. But if you're in close range, man, like, you might get cooked if your aim's not that bad. Or you better have, you better be weaving and dodging, because like, you gotta wait like 3 seconds for this to be like and then finally like start spraying it and be more accurate. But the thing is, like, I love the Havoc because once you get past that little point in a fight, it's so powerful. Like, it packs a heavy punch. But I feel like that one is a big con compared to its pros, so it's gotta go C. Now the car, I think the car, which is this one right here, might be the only gun that can take 2 different types of ammo. So this one takes heavy and light. Now that alone kind of puts it in elite status, because it's almost like you'll never run out of bullets, and you can switch in between. You can start shooting heavy, run out, go to light, and then keep spraying. It's also pretty good with its recoil. It's not a crazy recoil that you have to try to control with the analog stick. I think I'm gonna put this at A. Now, as we approach the end, as you guys can see, there's a lot of guns that I believe are good. And again, right, this is my list. I'm trying to remain a bit objective, but I'm also using my experiences. Apex is one of those hero shooters that most of the time when you grab a gun, it's gonna be a decent gun. Now, the last energy gun that we have is the Nemesis, being a burst AR, and this might be one of the worst, or like one of the least favorite bursts. Like, let's be real, like, compared to the Hemlock, the Prowler is weak. You know, it's not super accurate, and it doesn't feel too intuitive. Like, the recoil sometimes pulls at random directions. Like, it might pull, like, and it's ever so slightly, but like, those centimeters matter in a game of split-second decisions like Apex. Like, that matters. So you try to shoot straight, and sometimes it pulls a little bit here, a little bit there, up, down, and it's like, it's annoying to try to readjust every time. So unfortunately, it has to go down. Going back to the snipers, we have the longbow over here, and we have the sentinel. The longbow and the sentinel gotta be the best consistent snipers. There's a couple differences though. The sentinel, you can charge up your shots. The longbow is faster, and also you can have more bullets in your clip. Somebody can be full health with like purple armor, and if you have the longbow and you have like 7 bullets and you hit like 5 or 6, they're down, like they're completely gone. Now with the sentinel, it's just right, you have to time it well so you don't miss your shots. Longbow is going to win over the sentinel, but they're both good. They don't belong on E and F. But longbow, I'm gonna put this B, and sentinel C. Now we're down to the last 2. We got the Spitfire right here, light ammo, and we got the Rampage, heavy ammo. These are the last guns here in the tier list, and they're also both LMGs, light machine guns. We already know off rip that the Rampage is gonna be a bit stronger. Spitfire shoots way faster. Like the rate kind of looks like this. The Rampage is more like, but I gotta say something though. I have the most fun with the Rampage because the Rampage, you can just hold, like the spacing, like the time gap between one shot and the other is so perfect to the point where you can just kind of like laser somebody and kind of trace them, and you are rarely going to miss shots. So because the Rampage kind of shoots like this, pop, 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 you can miss a shot, and in the time that it takes for the other shot to come out and you moving your gun to kind of realign it, or just, you know, direct yourself to the enemy, you know, to the op, right? If they like moving around, or they're running away, or if they're taking cover, like you can do that and not lose bullets and not lose time. So you could be like pop, hit, another hit, and then you miss, then you readjust, and then you keep hitting. And it's it's so cool because somebody can just get stuck in this like perpetual cycle of getting hit by their Rampage. If there's nothing to hide, you just keep boom, boom, like slowly keep getting hit, and there's just nothing you can do. Now with the Spitfire, it is a bit easier to miss. You know, you could be like, they started running away, and now you missed like all your shots. But the Rampage, man, is so consistent with its hit ratio, just bop, 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 bop. And it's kind of like a slow burn. Like you're not going to completely make somebody kneel down, like, oh, like down them super fast like the ARs, but it's gonna strip away their armor and their health slowly, just pop, 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 pop. So that's gonna go over the Spitfire, because the Spitfire does that, but just with less accuracy. Rampage is gonna go A. Spitfire is gonna go B. I feel kind of happy with this. Again, thinking about my experience playing and also what I've seen from other players on YouTube and other platforms, like this seems kind of right, but everybody's gonna have their own thoughts. And with that in mind, I want to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. But like always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let us know down in the comments, do you guys play Apex, and what do you think of this tier list? Am I completely wrong and I should never do tier list again, or do you think this is pretty spot on? Let me know, and I will catch y'all next week. Peace out.